A clash of class this evening in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, as the Charleston Battery, who have long been the class of the East, meet Sacramento Republic, who have long been the class of the West. Happy to have you with us on ESPN Plus. Alongside the coach, Eric Dobransky, I'm Joe Malfa. Right now in the Eastern Conference, the Charleston Battery are the closest to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. As we take a quick look at the standings, the closest to, and they're still 6 points back, but they do have a game in hand, and if they are going to creep closer tonight, you have to figure tonight's Soccer 5 player to watch, Colton Swan, will factor in.
Yes, 7 goals in league play. 6 of those 7 goals have come in the last 8 matches, which is a reflection of the confidence he's playing with. But what separates him is his understanding of space. He knows exactly what each moment demands, whether it's progressing possession or finding answers in tight attacking areas. And tonight, his ability to recognize and exploit those moments will be the difference.
And he is going away from Charleston after this game to join the US U20s for the CONCACAF U20 Championships. On the other side, the standings in the Western Conference. Right now, Sacramento right in the middle of the heap. Everything's so tight in the West. They do have plenty of games in hand on the teams above them. Tonight is a big step, though, in the mind of Neil Collins and Sac Republic, because if they are going to hang with the best, they have to beat the best. And he looks at Charleston as one of those top teams in USL Championship. Forster Ajago is a player who needs to step up if they're going to reach that level.
Absolutely. Combines exceptional recognition with real physical presence, has the unique ability to unmark himself at just the right moment, but he's equally comfortable embracing the physical battles that are required inside the penalty area. Charleston's back line will have to match both his movement and his strength in big moments.
It's always good when these teams meet. Each of the last 2 years, the home team has won the encounter. Well, what do we have in store tonight? Charleston Battery reporter Izzy Sullivan breaks down the matchup tonight between two of the league's most winningest coaches.
Tonight's matchup is a historic one, and not just because of the players on the field, but because of the coaches on the sideline. Charleston Battery's Ben Pierman and Sacramento Republic's Neil Collins are two of the league's most successful coaches. Ben Pierman comes into tonight with 105 career league wins. Neil Collins has 112. They were the second and third fastest coaches in league history to reach the 100-win milestone, and their head-to-head record couldn't get much closer. 3 wins apiece in 6 meetings overall. So this is a big one. When I asked Ben Pierman how he appreciates playing in a matchup with 2 coaches of their caliber, he told me that it's always great to play against the best of the best because it pushes him, it pushes the players, but most importantly, it's an opportunity for his team to face a team that is well coached and talented in front of the home supporters.
When you scan the Spinks app and buy this, and this, you save big at the pump on that. Plus, save an additional 10 cents off per gallon when you use Extras Pay in the Spinks app.
People who love delicious fresh fried chicken know the restaurant with the crispiest, juiciest out there isn't a typical restaurant at all. Taste the hand-breaded Southern fried surprise for yourself.
Spinks, making life easier.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
30 years of covering the Low Country, I know what your home means to you. Hi everyone, I'm Dean Stevens, and when it comes to heating and air or plumbing needs, I call Fix It 24/7. Why? This team is old school, do things the right way, they care. Whatever it takes to get the job done. I've seen it firsthand and why they call it legendary service. Nothing but the best for a legendary city. More than 500 5-star reviews, and I'm obviously not alone in how I feel. The next time you need service, go to fixmyhome247.com and click the Book Now button.
Players taking the field here at Patriots Point. It's the Charleston Battery welcoming Sacramento Republic. 2 teams coming in off of results they'd like to forget and make amends. To do so, we meet tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Fix It 24/7. We start with the home side. Ben Pierman, the head coach, sends out this unit.
It's an identity that begins without the ball. They're hunting collectively, win possession in advanced areas. The wide areas are going to be crucial tonight. Kelly, Messer along that left side, Foster, Martinez along that right. They can create problems in different zones of the pitch. And then it's about manipulating Sacramento's back line. Emilio Icaza's presence, the movement will be highly impactful in generating space for Miguel Berry between the lines.
On the other side for Sacramento, it's a team that has been plagued by injuries this year. There are still some guys who are touch and go, but this is a relatively strong group that Neil Collins is able to send out versus some of the issues they've had earlier in the year.
Defensively, they are incredibly difficult to unbalance and pull apart. Keep an eye on Aaron Essel at left back. He'll need to win those defensive duels, but also provide quality in possession, choosing the right moments to advance.
On the bottom there, Alfredo Medense, a player who just came over from Lexington, just signed this past week for Sacramento Republic. So we'll see if he can be inserted and he could have an impact as well. Each of the last 2 years, the home team has won this encounter. Two teams who year in, year out have been synonymous with success in the larger scheme of the USL Championship, but particularly within their conferences. Two teams who, all that being said, maybe had some earlier playoff exits in recent years than they would have liked. Two teams who this year have aspirations of being there at the very end. Long way to go. If you told me right now this is a preview of the USL Championship final in November, I would have a hard time arguing. These are two teams who are certainly going to be in the conversation with health and on the trajectories that we perceive to be possible. We'll see how it looks tonight. It's Charleston in the black from right to left, Sacramento in the white from left to right. Matthew Corrigan is the referee in green. Just waiting for him to send us on our way. It's Charleston, it's Sacramento, away we go. Alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+.
Joe, right before kickoff, you were talking about obviously the ambitions of the club, and wouldn't be a surprise if we saw both these sides in the final. Early exits last year, and that's where for both these sides and both coaches, they understand how important the balance in both boxes are. Opening rounds of the playoff last year, they were both shut out and both saw their early exit in penalties. So yes, you need to execute defensively, and you have a Sacramento Republic side that is elite defensively. 13 goals against, second fewest in the league. 7 of those goals of those 13 have been conceded away from home. So having to put that together, but both these teams hosted playoff games last year, so they know they need to defend but also score goals, as we see an early foul from Jared Timmer.
Went in awkwardly from behind. Had some pleas for a yellow card from the Charleston Battery side, and I feel like they have an argument there as Icaza, the captain, gets back to his feet. You mentioned success in both boxes being paramount for both these teams. That was something that Ben Pierman feels his side could be better with, as they've had their ups and downs this season. Mostly downs early, mostly ups since then, although coming in off a disappointing defeat in a USL Cup that saw them go out instead of going through to the quarterfinals. Same goes for Sacramento. Sacramento was in a position where they were winning in last week in the Brinks Tires USL Cup, and they fell against AC Boise, which then put Spokane into the quarterfinals instead. So both these teams disappointed to not be in the USL Cup quarters for what they have in mind, for the aspirations they have this season. You wonder if that setback for both these teams last week can be a launching pad forward. Take a look at tonight's keys to the game, presented by Mercedes-Benz Van Charleston.
For Charleston, win between the lines. Sacramento won't give you much space, so the willingness and winning the pockets between the lines, quick movement, combination play can be important. And for Sacramento, secure the regains. Winning possession isn't enough. They're going to have to complete that first pass, and it's going to have to be progressive, be positive, really force Charleston to make some defensive decisions.
A lot of third key. Battle the sun for the first half hour
Yeah.
or so. It's not just us looking through it right now calling this game. These players, you will see them put their right or left hand up often. The referee as well, Matthew Corrigan, has essentially been jogging around the field with his right hand attached to his eyebrow as if it were a visor. It is tough to look in this direction, and that's an advantage right now for Charleston. When they have the opportunity, they choose to attack this side first at this time of year because it's a nightmare for Danny Vitiello.
And for Charleston, to the point you just made, build out of that right side, and Nathan Messer is so quality, climbing the field in the right moments, becoming that outlet in the final third, and then just the overall quality of his delivery. I mean, and then on his side, Jack Gurr. I mean, Jack Gurr is inevitable in USL Championship games. His up and down presence, ground coverage. It'll be a battle to watch throughout this match.
Kelly drops it back. Pahomov, Apanonu, back and forth they go. And what was roster-wise a transitional year for Charleston, you wondered if the results would falter. And they haven't. They're looking for something early here. Akaza looks to flick it on the volley to the back post. Jeremy Kelly might have been caught betwixt and between a shot or a cross, split the difference, goal kick.
It's always fascinating when you see that roster turnover. You tend to think that the offensive side is going to be the one that you see the side hit the most, because defensively you don't need the ball. Obviously the identity and the principles, the support, the overall structure is there, but the relationships still need to build. But offensively, 15 games in, last year they led the league with 62 goals. Last year through 15 games, 32 goals for. This year, 15 games through, 30 goals for. So right there in the mix is still leading the USL Championship. So offensively, it's there. They have conceded more goals this year than through 15 last year, and I believe that's probably where Ben Pierman and his group want to tighten the screws.
Rolled ahead, Malik Foster and Douglas Martinez working down that right side. Two players who were not that long ago on the other side with Sacramento. Now both with Charleston. Free kick coming out for Sacramento. Catching up with Neil Collins this week, Sacramento head coach ahead of this game. It was a lot of talk about health and getting everybody back into the swing of things. They feel they have a very strong future this season as bodies get back reintegrated, get back to hitting top form. A night like tonight, it could be a big step in the right direction for that. Free kick brought to you by ProLift Garage Doors. Take a look at the injury report brought to you by MUSC. Well, to my point about getting guys healthy, nothing officially reported for both these teams, but there are some little niggles that are being nursed. Guys on the way back on the mend. Neil Collins, to finish that point, was very excited about tonight being a true measuring stick for his group. A win in a game like this away from home against a team who over the last couple of years has been the most successful home team in the USL Championship. That's a win that goes a long way for your group if Sacramento Republic can leave here with 3 points.
Yeah, 21 match unbeaten here for Charleston Battery, and then offensively they are just firing on all cylinders here at Patriots Point. Good combination.
Kerr up to Willie, cut off. Well defended in the end. Joey Apanonu.
And with the red card to Graham Smith, you see Sean Stuber back at that center back position. Obviously Apanonu there. Messer on the left. Douglas Martinez has stepped in at that right back. This is going to be where Neil Collins and his group want to kind of assert themselves. Throw in for Charleston Battery. Can they get themselves back on the ball like they just did and now kind of spend moments living in the Charleston half?
Timmer. Throw for Pep Casas. Hessel. All the way back for Lee Desmond. We had asked Neil Collins of any players who have another level to their game. They have to show it in the second half of the season for this team to reach its full potential. And he pointed to a lot of guys, and it was mostly the leadership group of this team, the likes of Lee Desmond, Jared Timmer, even Danny Vitiello in goal. Guys like that, given away, picked up by Sacramento. Promising area here. Kay deflected, and it's over the bar. Could have gone anywhere. It's out for a corner. He called on guys like Mark Anthony Kay, who he knows can be consistent and who could take their game to a higher level to step up in the second half of the season. Maybe early signs of that.
And you saw glimpses of that against Rhode Island. 2 assists from Mark Anthony Kay. obviously dropped USL Cup game against AC Boise, but Mark Anthony Kaye had to play a lot of that game at left back due to some of the rotation and some of the injuries and availability. So now getting himself in the box, getting himself involved.
Corner dropped in and gathered by Zamudio. Abinonu going for goal, friendly fire. It should be a goal kick, and it is. Danny Vitiello has been between the sticks for Sacramento since 2022. Gets it back into play. Neil Collins, ever animated. Hear him barking from his technical area right now. Gurr. Well, Charleston were hoping to pick up some ground tonight on the Tampa Bay Rowdies as they sit 6 points back with a game in hand. So far, not so good. Tampa Bay up 1-0 on the road against Loudoun. So as it stands, the best Charleston will be able to do is keep pace tonight. Here we are, scoreless through 10. Keep you abreast of the happenings elsewhere. Also, El Clamico going on right now. Rhode Island hosting Hartford. Sporting Jacks building off their win against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, maybe. They're up 2-0 nearing halftime against Brooklyn. Detroit City and Indy 11 are scoreless nearing halftime. Good matchup there, two top teams in the East. A day that started with Pittsburgh winning 3-1 over Louisville City and Trevor Ammon scoring a hat trick in 3 minutes, 47, 48, and 50th minutes with goals. With an eye for goal here, Vitiello diving. It's wide of his post. Did he get a piece of it? No, goal kick.
This is the tricky portion of defending the Charleston Batteries. They can hit you central, but they also have the players out wide with Martinez and Messer that can be a problem. And Colton Swan, his ability to connect and work off of Miguel Berry, that relationship has just continued to grow and develop throughout this season.
19 years of age, Colorado Rapids Academy, a year at Indiana collegiately, and he will be featuring for the United States U20 team in the CONCACAF U20 Championship coming up. He leaves after today. The U.S. let him play this one last game with the Battery before his national team duty. Now, that's a significant tournament. It serves as a qualifier for the U20 World Cup, but also for the next edition of the Olympics for teams in the region.
Brandon Days from Lou City also called in to that group.
Good tackle. Mark Anthony Kaye wins it, feeding it along. It's been a little bit choppy in the attacking third for Sacramento despite winning the ball in some of these advanced positions.
And early on, they have been good in getting themselves on the ball, securing that first pass, making sure that they're able to build into that form. Just that final pass in the final third, that's what's missing.
You can enter the Pring Stars USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Let's get the QR code on screen and enter today. I hope Neil Collins brought the sunblock today, or at least has it on already, and should reapply at some point at halftime, maybe. Martinez through for Berry. Again, it's recovered by Sacramento, and they go. Forster Ajago lines one up, and he just pulls it wide. You touched on it. Your key to the game was the regains. They're winning all these second balls right now, and they're quickly turning into chances.
And what they're doing with that is playing forward. You see some teams have to reset, go backwards, go sideways. Sacramento Republic, Ajago is being a big part of that. I mean, the wins that Mark Anthony Kay is having positionally has been tremendous, but this team overall, looks like glances off that post. We asked Neil Collins the theme of the collective and complete performances that they've seen thus far, and it's when they're living in the opponent's half, and that happens when you're in sync with the defensive pressure, but the support that comes with that. And a lot of the best attacking structure comes from that defensive structure. You have the immediate outlets, you have the ideas, and you can punish teams when you get yourself back on the ball.
Right now, Charleston is struggling to string a few passes together in the attacking half. Neither side yet with a shot on target. Quarter of an hour in, still scoreless. One of those cross-conference matchups you circle when it comes around each year. There's a few games you'd put in that elite category. You throw Louisville, Tampa Bay, Charleston against Sacramento. You throw, I guess the West is more of a mystery because the West each year becomes a little bit more topsy-turvy. You know who you're going to get in the East every year. Sacramento, amid all that, is the only, I suppose, consistent team in the West. San Antonio's had their ups and downs and put a star above the crest. Same for Orange County, same for Phoenix. But you know you're going to get the teams in the East, and you know you're going to get Sacramento.
You almost feel like at this point in the season, the West is almost a playoff match every single weekend because you have a down week. I mean, you're putting yourself, I don't want to say well behind the 8 ball because Sacramento Republic coming into tonight, 19 points. You're 4 points above the bottom of the Western Conference. I mean, that is how razor thin the differences are right now in the West.
It's a real test in the world of being a pessimist or being an optimist. Do you want to say you're 6 points off first, or do you want to say you're, to your point, 5 points in the live table above last?
I would probably dare to say the first option because the way that I framed it was probably a bit more doomsday. And you don't want to play week by week with that kind of pressure, knowing that, hey, you drop points or, you know, whether you're up a point and you only pick up one. I mean, it just, the variabilities are there. You just don't want to play with that kind of pressure. You want to make sure that you're putting yourself right in the pack. So we see the handball and the restart here.
Free kick brought to you by ProLift's Garage Doors. As the shadows creep into the box of Danny Vitiello, he will welcome that as he's been battling the sun so far for the first 15. Not out of the woods yet. Sun still glinting on his face. You can see a good shot of it there in the background. Kelly and Messer standing over it. Expectation is it would be Kelly. It's Messer instead with a lofted outswinger. And before anything can come of it, a foul was called in the buildup. Turn to the CBS Sports Network on Wednesday, July 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern for a Western Conference Championship showdown. Surging Lexington faced battle-tested Oakland in an on-field tussle for valuable points. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network July 22nd. That is this Wednesday night. And to your point about the standings, pending results here tonight, a surging Lexington team that is now in 9th, a point behind El Paso. With a win, they would jump the 4th place Oakland team that they play. On the flip side of that, Oakland with a win would jump from 4th into 3rd. So the margins are incredibly tight right now in the West.
And New Mexico United had a fantastic performance midweek at Lexington. Lexington coming into that match with 3 wins in a row. And
you were on the call for that one. It just turned into a shellacking. Unexpectedly so.
Yeah, just elite execution from New Mexico United. And Dennis Sanchez's group. Talk about turnovers higher up the field. I mean, they were causing all sorts of havoc and then rewarded themselves for that havoc. And I think that's where you start to differentiate some teams is, can you not only generate the turnovers, but then benefit from those being progressive? And that's where Sacramento, you're seeing glimpses of it right now. When they get back on the ball, they are being very dangerous and very threatening and purposeful with how they're going forward. But we also knew that we were going to have to manage some ebbs and flows from this match. I mean, these are two extremely well-coached teams.
The best thing to come out of that game, by the way, and the league posted the clip, was this brilliant 24-pass sequence from New Mexico, which you thought might end with a tap-in. No, it's a 35-yard missile from Valentin Noel, who might have been bored with the passing sequence himself.
Yeah, he just turns into acres of space. Just absolutely punishes one from distance. I mean, that was just... The Greg Hurst opening goal was a penalty, but then the 3 goals afterwards were just all tremendous from New Mexico United.
Malongo four-way up that left wing right now, but doesn't find anybody on the ball back. You wonder if he hit a rough patch there in the grass. You see some of those rough patches right now. A lot going on this field this time of year, and the weather beating it up pretty good as well. The grounds crew typically do a terrific job, but some things are just beyond your control, and you do see some players looking down at their boots here so far in this one.
I think my eyes are going to continue to stay here along the right side of Sacramento when they do regain possession, just from the mere fact of Blake Willie, typically that central midfielder in that role. Casas has kind of drifted in there, but now Blake Willie drifting central, but allowing Jack Gurr to get into that space. What does that allow? Obviously, Jack Gurr can deliver from all sorts of levels. He could have an early delivery, a late delivery, all the way to that end line. Then you're getting a little bit more width from Malongo.
Messer. Sean Suber. Haven't really called the name Malik Foster yet. The terrific form that he's been in for the Charleston Battery. Always wandering up and down that right side. On a moment's notice, can kick it into a higher gear. Can't kick it into a higher gear, though, if you can't connect the passes in the attacking third.
That's what Sacramento do. They frustrate you. They squeeze the space. Incredibly disciplined. They rarely pull themselves out of position.
One of those rare miscues here as Gurr lost it and then compounded it by conceding the foul. Pro lift garage doors, free kick coming for the Charleston Battery. Good area to whip a dangerous ball in.
And especially with the sun kind of sets, can you put this in an area where not only decisions have to be made, but communication in that sun kind of glaring? Obviously, you've seen it kind of dim down there in the box, but can you put it in an area where some chaos can be created? Yeah, some questions, but it's always about not necessarily just the first contact, but putting yourself in a position where you can be dangerous in the second and third actions. This is where Charleston Battery have been tremendous throughout this season. Set pieces, dead ball restarts.
Colton Swan has been particularly good in the air and just finding goals this year. Messer drives one in, crashes around. It's last off of Charleston and out for a goal kick. Battery Matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. moments for these two teams where it looks like they're going to get out of neutral. Neither side yet, though, with a shot on target. 4 shots for Charleston, 2 for Sacramento. Did have a post hit by Ajago, who lays it off here. Shrieking to the midfield. It's wide for Gurr. Jack Gurr earns a corner for Sacramento.
And these are the questions that are going to begin to develop, because Jack Gurr continues to be that dangerous player out wide throughout his career with the delivery, his ability to recognize when he can get forward. So what do you do with Jeremy Kelly, his ability to stay forward and not have to track back, but then also Nathan Messer having to decide whether he steps out.
Malik Foster picked up a yellow card. He looked like he was trying to make a foul in transition to stop that attack. From the corner. Nothing new in there for Sacramento. It's right there when he tried to slow down Pep Casas and caught him down at the end.
Good refereeing, allowing that play to continue, and then going back.
Oh, taken away. Blake Willie! There's a whistle. They've got a handball against Willie, and I think it's the right call. The assistant referee spotted it. Sacramento's going to protest it. There is no VAR, so the call that's made is the call that stands. And that's where the field comes into play again. You've gotten some interesting wobbles up off this uneven surface. You feel for Willie, but it certainly seemed right here to be a handball.
Yeah, tremendous pressure, but immediately looks like this ball hops
right
up.
There,
yep. He's able to gather it, get it on his left foot, and put it away. And I know they're going to be frustrated with the call, but they also do have to enjoy the pressure that they're able to put on Charleston right now, as we see Neil Collins. It did look like immediately as that ball popped up, caught that left arm of Blake Willie. Right now they are doing a good job of reading triggers and doing that collectively.
I'll tell you what, VAR has become a very interesting topic over this summer with the World Cup. What's too much, what's not enough refereeing. In an instant like that, a yellow card's coming here. Is it Neil Collins who's been a little too rambunctious? I believe that's the case. Matthew Corrigan coming over. Settle him down, give him the yellow, and hopefully that's all. Just explaining again what happened. Neil Collins doesn't want any of it, but to be fair, if VAR were here and that goal was scored and initially stood, it's probably overturned for a handball. The referee and crew got that spot on. Despite Sacramento not agreeing with it, they got the call right in the end. We have the benefit of replay. They don't, but they got it right the first time.
It's so fascinating to see how VAR has kind of impacted the overall education of the game of football, but also how much deep appreciation you have for the live call and the job of center official, all the officials involved, and to call that in real time without being able to lean on replay. I mean, the work that these officials do to put themselves in positions and be decisive, they are absolutely professional in what they do.
Don't go too nice, though. There's going to be plenty of fans who think you're going to be too nice to the officials now.
I was just about to add that, and the fact that VAR has probably added a bit more confusion into my life in regards to thinking that I understood some rules, and clearly there are some that...
Oh, I'm certain you have a better understanding than you realize. You have a PhD, after all. This is Dr. Dobransky that's next to me right now.
And some of the replays from the World Cup just still leave me scratching my head and trying to figure out, you know, especially when you're going back so deep into plays, but back to it. These officials do so much work. What a ball over the top.
Kelly settles. Kelly lays it off. Oh, it comes all the way through. There are 3 black jerseys there, and none of them could get a stab at goal. For the folks at home, that's not an inside joke, by the way. He does have a doctorate, so we probably should call you Dr. Dobransky like we have Dr. Joe Macknick on these matches on the World Cup for the rules. I'll have them update the graphics for the next run. Nodded back toward goal to Zamudio. That's a calm play by Ikaza with a couple of white jerseys around him.
Well, and he had just been in the attacking box just a few moments ago. And anytime you talk to Ben Pierman, it's always about hunting the ball collectively, defensively. And that's exactly what this identity is predicated on. But they also lead the league in scoring for a reason. They hunt in the box extremely well. And they turn you over, not even just when they turn you over, when they find an outlet like they did to Jeremy Kelly right there, I mean, they just absolutely unload and get themselves in dangerous positions in the 18-yard box, and they make it incredibly difficult.
I think of the guys they lost in the attack too this year. Cal Jennings, Rubio Rubin, I could go on and on. It was the end of a 3-year cycle. I had a very extensive conversation with Ben Pierman about this early in the year. They knew this was going to be the year to turn the roster over. Call it a retool more than a rebuild, but you expected some growing pains, especially losing that much firepower. Guys who are capable of winning golden boots. MD Myers thrown into that equation. All those players scattered around the league elsewhere, and yet, to your point, still leading the league in goals. Gurr tucks it in. K. Casas on the turn. Nowhere to go, trying to create space for himself. Mael Malongo drops it back. Rodriguez put a cell into a tough spot, but got out of it. Malongo. Malongo.
I think that right there is the moment, and those sequences have lived before that moment in this first 31 minutes for Sacramento Republic, that they're going to have to come to answer against opponents is when opponents stack their box, protect their box, who helps break them down? Do they do it with link-up play? Do they do it on the dribble? Clearly they have Jack Gurr in that wide space for the delivery, but they're going to have to find that adaptability, that flexibility, because right now, 15 goals scored on the season. That's the third lowest in the USL Championship. Now, I would also go out and say that Sacramento Republic has not traditionally been a side that is just going to go out score everybody. Right. Traditionally, it is the defensive stability. It is the challenges they present on that side of the ball. But when you look at how dangerous they've been in and around the box throughout this season, I mean, they're just waiting for that next turn. I mean, this is a team that leads in a lot of XG categories.
Memo Rodriguez just picked up a yellow card as well for a challenge back behind the play. Right side of your screen, right there. Ooh. Talk about VAR earlier. That one might have been red if we had the benefit of that. That was a questionable one. Show it to you one more time. Right side of your screen, right there. Ooh,
yeah, that's left arm gets really high. Yeah.
Our referee, Matthew Corrigan, was all over. It looked like he saw it out of the corner of his eye. It was about 20 yards away from it. Enough to spot that something happened and show a yellow, but there's an argument that that could have been red.
Well, and then you see Memo Rodriguez with a conversation, obviously after the yellow, and probably saying something in the effects of watch what was happening before that as well. And to the point I was just making of unlocking teams offensively for Sacramento Republic, I would also dare to say Memo Rodriguez is going to be a big key to that. We talked about Mark Anthony Kaye kind of finding that form on the ball. We've always known the influence he can have, as we see Mark Anthony Kaye there in that picture. Defensively, we've already seen him break up plays, be that disruptor. Now offensively, the 2 assists against Rhode Island, his first 2 assists for the club. Memo Rodriguez is a creative force. No goals, no assists thus far, but you got to imagine that him on the ball is a threat to a lot of different teams. Now, how does that affect what this team can become in the final third?
Hydration break winding down. Neil Collins taking part in the hydration and also taking part in the happenings. He's got a yellow card of his own. Memo Rodriguez and Malik Foster, the 2 out there with yellows. So far, neither side with a shot on target. Charleston with 4 shots, Sacramento with 3. It has been about what we expected between these two teams so far. Question is, will it kick into a higher gear? We've seen glimpses where both teams were able to just get out and go. We saw the ball hit the net from Blake Willie, but he was called for a handball in the build-up, rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't think we anticipated to see anything that we saw with France and England in 10 goals. We knew that these two teams were not going to give an inch and we're going to battle defensively. And I think what stands out to me for both these teams watching them throughout the season is their willingness to sacrifice in a lot of their second and third actions. I mean, defensively, they might concede in that first action, but their work rate to get back in the play, influence what comes next, is why they sit where they sit in the standings and why they're consistently towards the top of their conferences.
Sent long, playing right in behind to Ajago. For a team like Sacramento, where goals have been harder to come by and injuries have been an issue and a mitigating factor in that, there's nothing wrong with once in a while just hitting it long to see what a player like Ajago can do with it.
And that's a great point because they have two highly capable central figures in attack. Kyle Edwards has been quality for Sacramento Republic, and then Ajago, that presence to stretch a back line, but also do it purposely to the point that you were just making, that vertical threat. You open up some space between the lines, you get Memo Rodriguez faced goal, Mark Anthony Kay, Casas. I mean, you don't have to lend yourself to doing that every single possession, but it does not hurt when you're starting to try to find those fine margins and influence the game, just like this.
Mael Malongo attacking Douglas Martinez, laid off by Malongo. Kay. Mark Anthony Kay commits the foul.
Looking back at Sacramento Republic's first 13 games last season, 17 goals for. They have 15 thus far this season, so not far off the pace. Only 2 off, and 12 goals against through 13 games last year. They have 13 this year, which is
right on par.
Confusing. Yep.
And if you would have told Neil Collins that they'd be just about on par with last year, given all the injuries, probably would have signed up for that.
100%. And I think the only thing that kind of stood out to me when I was kind of looking at the numbers was out of their 15 goals this season thus far, only 4 of those have come on the road, and 3 of those 4 have been in second halves of matches. So kind of how do you get more on the road? Obviously stylistically, and you know, things change, especially in the USL Championship. I mean, did a great job asking a lot of coaches this week about what have they seen as those trends, and a lot of home records. I mean, a lot of teams are so challenging to play on their home pitch. It's not easy to go on the road and get 3 points.
Watch the USL on ESPN2 July 25th for a championship matchup of teams battling for conference points. Detroit City aims to keep its top 4 spot in the standings against Las Vegas. Team looking to stay in the hunt in the West. That's Saturday, July 25th at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. A week from tonight. Gurr. Rodriguez cuts back in field. Rodriguez lays it off. Space to shoot here. Mark Anthony Kay lays it off instead. Malongo. Well, Malongo deflected. Shout for a handball from Malongo. Didn't seem to be.
And that's it right there. That ball gets played out to Jack Gurr. They get good numbers in the box. But Charleston Battery are able to retreat into their own 18-yard box. So then what happens next? Memo Rodriguez able to dribble in the box, plays back. Again, that next decisive action.
Rodriguez. Gurr out wide. Year in, year out, when he's healthy among not just the team leaders, but the league leaders in chances created. Jack Gurr, just been the health that at times has been more called into question. Defender of the Year finalist previously in 2023. Former All-League player.
Everybody sees how this game has evolved and the positional play. I mean, it's a position only by name. And I mean, Jack Gurr right here, the ground coverage, he is a outside back, but he is a force in the final third.
Casas. K. Again out to Gurr. Jack Gurr delivers a shot, go crashing. Well defended by Appanonu. He doesn't get there. Ajago is all alone. Charleston looking to run out. Colton Swan, haven't called that name much. Battling here. Advantage played for Sacramento. Foul really could have gone either way there. Players tangled up. Bierman effusive in his praise this week of Colton Swan and just the tremendous growth he's shown so early in his career. In his first year in the USL Championship as a 19-year-old, representing the United States at the U20 level. Coming up in the CONCACAF U20 Championship. The exact words for Ben Bierman: look, we know he's not going to be here for long, but we're going to enjoy him while he's here.
Well, I think you had him in that breakout game against Badgers. I mean, that was kind of our first introduction to Colton Swan.
Back in Open Cup. Against an amateur team, sure, but an amateur team that pushed Charleston to the brink. They needed a goal 10 minutes into stoppage time in the second half to win that game, Charleston. And it was Colton Swan's second of the game.
We see Nathan Messer banged up here, and that's why the discussion's along the sideline. And I will admit complete ignorance when watching that game and then obviously thinking squad rotation with Colton Swan, and then his career and this season has just absolutely catapulted, and growth mindset just continues to evolve his game, and that's why you see him week in, week out, receive the accolades and the praise and the attention that he gets on scouting reports clearly.
Timmer. Gurr. Well, Rich, the point of the match where the sun is no longer an issue. Everybody on field and in the booth thankful for that.
I'm looking at the numbers right now, Joe. And two of the stats that always kind of match up for me in terms of dictating kind of some of the tempo here. Final third entries and then touches in opposition box for Sacramento Republic. 35 final third entries. 3 of those have been touches in the opposition box. So
through for Gurr. Jack Gurr cutting it across all the way through. Squared back toward K. It won't get there. Pahomov gets it clear. Right on cue from you. Now the other way. Streaking down the middle, it's Barry. Foster forgot the ball. Awkward pass back to Vitiello, and it's out for a corner.
And this is one of the questions for me coming into tonight. That left back position, obviously, due to availability and for Sacramento Republic. Aaron Essel having to step into that. He was playing center back against AC Boise. I thought did a terrific job in some of the duels that he was forced into. Now playing that dual role, getting up and down the field. But anytime you have to kind of tinker with a back line and see some different rotations, now we have to see Nathan Messer come off again. He's typically on these deliveries as well. It's like Jeremy Kelly was off, going to that corner now.
Nathan Messer is a mess right now. They got it plugged up, but not good enough apparently. So long between when the ball went out to now that they had to replay Thunderstruck. They got through the whole loop that they had and had to re-cue it up. Corner brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services provider of the Battery. Oh, third time. It's been a long time for this corner to be taken. Now the outswinger. All that Thunderstruck for naught. Ikaza lays it off. Flag stays down. Douglas Martinez keeps it in play here. Martinez. Awkward slice clearance. Vidiello coming through, punching it away. He initiated that contact, no foul. Fortunate it's a teammate on the end of it. Pep Casas.
It's just an awkward sequence all around from Sacramento.
Next up at home for the Charleston Battery against Brooklyn FC, Saturday, August 1st, 7:30 p.m. here at Patriots Point. Fourth official has indicated 3 minutes of MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time. Not every game created equally. A first half that has not seen a single shot on goal, but has not been without moments and has not been without excitement and positive spells of play for these two teams.
Well, even that last run and delivery from Jack Gurr, that near post runner, you almost felt like, thought there was a runner in behind for the second layer. You didn't see that overall full commitment to get there, but when you also find that quick ball over the top, you find yourself isolated a lot of the times. You can't necessarily get all the numbers going forward. So you see the possession numbers in favor of Sacramento Republic. To your point, no shots on target for either side.
Jago trying to get his body in the way. Both these teams seem content to get to halftime. There's real no urgency here at the end of this. Only game going on right now without a goal, this one. Detroit City up 2-0 on Indy. Tampa Bay still up 1-0 on Loudoun. Sporting Jack still up 2-0 on Brooklyn. And Rhode Island taking a 1-0 lead in the half in El Clamico. Last minute of first half stoppage.
What a week would this be for Sporting Jacks and Liam Fox, and get a first victory against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and then if you could see out this game, be a massive result against Brooklyn.
Ikaza. It's their last chance in this first half for Charleston. 3 minutes come and gone. Messer deflected. And it's straight up in the air by Lee Desmond. Jared Timmer only as far as Kelly. Kelly blocks. Doesn't matter. Whistle goes. Half over. Scoreless between Charleston and Sacramento, though entertaining, and these two teams showcasing certain attributes as to why we and many think that they can be there when all is said and done in November. Tight one so far.
Yeah, these are two teams that are asking different questions in different moments of this first half for Charleston Battery. Can they start regaining possession higher up the field? That's going to be key. For Sacramento Republic, in those moments, can they be decisive in the final third?
Halftime presented by the Sport Yard. It's 0-0 through 45 minutes. Fans are having a good time here at Patriots Point. The fans wearing the black and yellow would have a better time if their side can find a way. Sacramento trying to spoil the party. Right now, all deadlocked. 0-0 through 45 minutes as the sun sets here in Mount Pleasant.
And now, a Pepper Law Firm corner kick.
The Pepper Law Firm is a proud sponsor of the Charleston Battery, where winners win.
Cheer for the boys in the red, white, and blue league.
Declare your purpose at Charleston Southern University, offering a wide range of undergraduate degree programs, including majors like aeronautics, engineering, business, and education. CSU is committed to providing you with a biblical worldview and a cutting-edge education. The campus experience includes Division I athletics, small class sizes, intramural sports, and more, all at the only Christian university in the Lowcountry of South Carolina. Join the Buccaneer family and apply today at charlestonsouthern.edu.
Extra. It changes the energy on the field and off. It changes the expectations. It changes the game. At Regions, we celebrate the extra that makes the SEC the definition of excellence, while our team goes the extra mile so your financial wins keep coming too. Extra changes everything. And extra is our ordinary at Regions, official bank of the SEC.
Halftime brought to you by Sport Yard. Scoreless through 45 minutes between Charleston and Sacramento. The Battery players teamed up with Mercedes-Benz Vans Charleston to volunteer at the Community Resource Center in North Charleston. Let's learn a bit more.
This week, the Battery's Colton Swan, Alec Hughes, and Kirill Pahomov teamed up with Mercedes-Benz Vans Charleston to volunteer at the North Charleston Community Resource Center. The team and MBV helped pack boxes of food, sorted items, and helped deliver them to our Lowcountry neighbors. Check out the scenes from the afternoon of the team helping to support the community that supports them.
In the middle of the 2026 World Cup, Carlos Lamosa is focused on something else. The head coach of San Antonio FC is navigating his club through the midway point of the USL Championship season. But nearly a quarter century ago, the World Cup was Lamosa's dream come true.
Well, that was a unique experience for many reasons. First, that was the first World Cup of the century. That was the first time the World Cup happens in two different countries. And that was the first time that happens in Asia.
The 2002 World Cup is to date the best performance by the U.S. men's national team. A stunning victory over Portugal in the group stage. A shutout of arch rival Mexico in the round of 16, with South Korea's 13-hour time difference to U.S. Eastern Time. Americans had to be creative for live overnight matches. Bars were open at 4 in the morning making breakfast for your matches. Were you aware of all of that at the time?
We found out being there in Korea. They show us videos of footage from TV networks, having a watching party at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Also for me, I have Colombian news going to my parents' house in Colombia in the middle of the night to do interviews when we were playing live.
In 2026, the World Cup includes more than 40 players whose careers were touched by different levels of USL. Lamosa now has a seat to watching players chase their own World Cup dreams.
Here from our academy from San Antonio, we have a player representing the U.S. on the U17 qualifier. That's a very important league in the U.S. soccer developmental program.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay que de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol y estamos a esperar a un gol. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Súbete, llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Vas al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vamos!
This is your moment.
You ever just look at them and think, yeah, I'm doing all right.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Tonight's matchup is a historic one, and not just because of the players on the field, but because of the coaches on the sideline. Charleston Battery's Ben Pierman and Sacramento Republic's Neil Collins are two of the league's most successful coaches. Ben Pierman comes into tonight with 105 career league wins. Neil Collins has 112. They were the second and third fastest coaches in league history to reach the 100-win milestone, and their head-to-head record couldn't get much closer. 3 wins apiece in 6 meetings overall. So this is a big one. When I asked Ben Pierman how he appreciates playing in a matchup with 2 coaches of their caliber, he told me that it's always great to play against the best of the best because it pushes him, it pushes the players, but most importantly, it's an opportunity for his team to face a team that is well coached and talented in front of the home supporters.
Oh, beautiful sunset we are treated to every single time here at Patriots Point. I guess this is the payoff for having the sun blinding you for the first 30 minutes of the match. Sportyard halftime, it's 0-0 after 45 minutes. Take a look at some out-of-town scores around the USL Championship. Scores are brought to you by Breeze Airways. Goals have been the theme of the day, but goals elsewhere for the most part so far. Brooklyn did just bring one back against Sporting Jacks. Not out of the woods there. Detroit City and Tampa Bay on the verge of victories, and El Clamico tied up at halftime. Anything shock you there, or we're pretty much true to form?
No, everything pretty much true to form. Obviously, Detroit City up 2-0 on Indy 11, who is trying to bounce back from a 2-0 defeat at Miami FC. and Indy 11 that had just beat Charleston Battery the week before. So trying to climb themselves into that East conversation, but everything else for Brooklyn got some time to kind of pull an equalizer back.
Still more to come the rest of the evening. A couple of really good matchups for you. Maybe the most interesting one of the mix as far as what it means in the standings. I guess everything in the West right now means a lot because things are so tight. But Monterey Bay and Phoenix really sticks out because Monterey Bay have all of a sudden surged after the coaching change. Phoenix in 10th place on 17 points. If either team wins that game, if Phoenix wins, they're above the playoff line. If Monterey Bay wins, they're a point back of the playoff line considering how this year started. That's insane, Eric.
Yeah, it just seems like every game in the West is so tight, but I like that game that you highlighted.
I mean, pick any of them. They're all going to be a good time in the Western Conference, and this one should be a good time in the second half between Charleston and Sacramento. Still scoreless for now. The Sport Yard halftime show comes to an end when we return kick in half number 2 between two of the top teams in the USL Championship.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We'll get you back out to your match shortly. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with the headlines. Before the USL Cup group finales last weekend, Hartford Athletic hosted Orange County. Now in that match, Hartford's Vinci Galena assisted on this goal. That's his 30th career assist, putting him in rare company. Galena is the 9th member of the championship's 45-goal, 30-assist club. Hartford Athletic was one of 6 championship clubs to advance to the quarterfinals of the USL Cup. Louisville City led all teams with 12 goals scored in the group stage, and 2 Louisville players finished in the top 2, Jansen Wilson with 5, Chris Donovan with 3. And those USL Cup quarterfinals will take place on Wednesday, August 12th. Tampa Bay hosts Louisville City. Charlotte will host Hartford Athletic. Spokane welcomes Colorado Springs, and San Antonio will host Miami FC. Upcoming national spotlight games. Next Wednesday, Oakland Roots at Lexington SC on CBS Sportsnet and 2DN. Then next Saturday, Detroit City hosts Las Vegas Lights on ESPN2. San Antonio hosts Indy 11 on the 31st on CBS Sportsnet. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
Cheer for the boys in the red, white, and blue league. Onto a shot from distance. Now it does come. Off the post and in. All systems go for Charleston Battery. One of the near post and flicked it on and in. Breathtaking.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
This is our brand. It's chips. Subs, of course. Soda. This. That. Sweets. Smiling faces. Green. More green. Ice cream. But first, veggies. How about a meal for one? Or hummus is fun. Time for cleanup? Done. All this goodness. Your life, your brand. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Ready to begin this second half. Charleston and Sacramento scoreless through 45 minutes. We'll jump into the highlights from the first half. You might be asking yourself, what highlights could we possibly have for a 0-0 game? There were actually plenty between these two teams. Highlights are brought to you by Truly. And honestly, it's a surprise it is 0-0 considering some of the moments.
It is, because I thought both teams did a good job of finding areas and situations to advance the ball. And Sacramento Republic winning the ball in the attacking half and then quickly playing it forward. That shot from Ajago goes off the post. And then this turnover from Blake Willie, unfortunately, pops up and hits his left arm. But that just adds to the pressure that Sacramento Republic were putting on Charleston in the build, disrupting play, and then benefiting from the chances and the opportunity they created. Good ball over the top to Jeremy Kelly, puts the ball down and just unable to find that far post runner. You have three players in the box, and it's always that last runner that has to kind of dictate his final run based on those first two early ones. So an opportunity there for Charleston Battery.
Neither you nor I noticed it initially. Take a look at the truly halftime stats here. 4 shots apiece, none on target. I don't think either of us realized it initially until we just saw those highlights. Malik Foster actually dummied that through, thinking there was somebody behind him. If he can go back and do that over, he just smashes that at goal. He was unmarked, and the guys behind him weren't quite as equipped to do it, but just gives you a sense of like the chances that are there, the moments that are being created for both these teams. It's a 0-0 game. Sure, it may go on to finish 0-0. We don't know with how these two teams cancel each other out, but it hasn't been for a lack of moments and a lack of end-to-end play.
Well, that's a fantastic point, because that is what we're missing in this game, is that decisive moment, that decisive action.
Maybe it comes in this second half as we are underway. Alongside the coach, Eric Dobransky, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. Sacramento Republic in the white, Charleston Battery in the black. What was the messaging from both of these coaches to their respective teams in the locker room at halftime?
I think for Sacramento Republic and Neil Collins' group, I think they've been solid defensively, which is something that they value and they hang their hat on. But I think overall, their structure, they minimized what Charleston was able to do in multiple phases. So continue to do that, but obviously find that breakthrough and be a bit more decisive and link up playing in the final third. And for Charleston Battery, can you read some of those triggers where you could apply pressure, win the ball higher up the field, and shorten the distance that you pick up the ball and go to the goal?
You know, Collins having a less animated discussion with the fourth official. Reminder, he's on a yellow card. The players on yellows: Malik Foster for Charleston, Memo Rodriguez for Sacramento. Uh-oh. That is not quite how you do a throw. And he got bailed out, though, Aaron Hessel, because there was a second ball on the field, and the referee, Matthew Corrigan, had not yet given the okay to play. Men in black, the laser thing, just forget that ever happened, Burrisell. Malongo. Battle there. Malongo ends up winning a corner for Sacramento. Rodriguez and Willie there together. It's short, it's Willie, it's wasted by Republic.
Those are those moments, especially early in a second half. Can you be aggressive? Can you put your opponent under some physical pressure? Put it right in the mix. Battle through, bump runners. Even if it equates to a foul, I mean, just put it right in the mix. And we're going to see that long throw.
Hessel gets the flick on. Bodies in the box here for Sacramento. The bicycle kick. Will it stand? Yes! Charleston pleading for offside. The goal counts for Forster Ajago.
And we were asking for decisive, emphatic play in the 18-yard box, and we got it with that finish right there from Ajago. You get the long throw, you win first contact, but most importantly, you influence second. And you see Ajago climbing into the box, finds himself on the end of it. And a clever way to open the scoring. What a finish by that man. Now collects his third goal on the season, or fourth goal, sorry, on the season.
Even he was uncertain if he should celebrate right away. He was looking over his shoulder. Everybody wearing black lifted their arm as if to ask for the offside. It was tight. Remember, VAR not part of the equation, so the call made is the call that stands. And it's 1-0, Sacramento Republic. Three on the season now for Forster Asiago.
I mentioned it earlier in the match. 4 goals of their 15 have now 5 of their 16 goals on the season have been away from home, and now 4 of those 5 have been in the second half.
Oh, it's up to Charleston to respond. Such a good home team, but going up against a team in Sacramento that is so tough to play from behind against, with how they've been defensively over the years, and this year as well, no exception. You can turn to the CBS Sports Network Wednesday, July 22nd, 7 Eastern, Western Conference Showdown, Lexington, Oakland. 3 big points up for grabs in the West. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network this Wednesday, July 22nd.
Well, to back up the point you just made, they're 4-0-1. Sacramento Republic are when they score first.
Given away, Rodriguez picks it off. 3v3 emerging here. Rodriguez. Willie overlap. Uses Gurr. Deflected through, out for a corner. Dicey moment.
Rare turnover from Pahomov, who has been so clinical throughout this season. I mean, obviously, Miguel Berry, Emilio Icaza coming off being the player of the month for the month of June. They command a lot of the attention, but the steadying force that hit him in midfield, 2 goals, 2 assists. Uncharacteristic turnover there, and now I got to deal with this defensive corner.
Rodriguez drops it in, the header, Timmer off target. Going back to the goal from Asiago, if you were wondering what the celebration was, he sort of mimics a bear. It's been his trademark ever since college at Duke. It caught fire when he was at Duke because it was the bear, the wolf, and the bull. They had a player whose name translated in Icelandic to wolf. It's Ulfur, from Ulfur to wolf. And a player whose name was Bull Jorgensen. And then you had the bear celebration. So they had every animal you could imagine on the arc there in Durham. And he's taken that celebration everywhere he's been. He maybe hasn't used it as much as he'd like, and that's maybe the complaint. Maybe complaint's a strong word, but the hope from Neil Collins is we'll see a lot more of the bear as this season goes along. You've made the point tonight a few times that Sacramento not scoring at the clip they would hope to. And in chatting with Neil Collins this week, they have a level they want to get to. And Forster Asiago is one of those players he wants to push to reach that higher level because he knows he has that higher gear in him. Hessel through, bounces away.
That is quite a backstory right there. I mean, my goodness.
I think if my wife is watching, she's wondering why that brain power is not put to more
Ain't that the truth?
Positive use than the useless information that is just stored in there.
And making look my prep look.
Suber. Martinez.
Sometimes when you do concede this early into a half, yes, you've kind of absorbed that first punch, but you still have plenty of time to stay well within the qualities and the principles of your play. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to rush. You don't have to overemphasize any certain area. It's a good win here.
Barry picks it up. Cuts back inside. Barry curling right at Vidiello. Didn't catch it cleanly. Just looking back for a foul as he got clipped as he released it. A couple of score updates for elsewhere. I'll get to in a moment. First, a look at Barry's shot again.
You see Colton Swan coming across the face and getting out of the way. But this is what Charleston Battery want to do. They want to disrupt play, get themselves back on the ball, 40, 50 yards away from goal, and then go forward.
Showed you Sporting Jacks 2-1 on Brooklyn. It's 2-2 now in the 82nd minute. And also, Tampa Bay conceded against Loudoun. That one 1-1 in the 87th minute. So for Charleston, now behind by a goal. If they can come from behind and win this game, and if that result holds elsewhere, it's a chance for them to gain ground on the Rowdies all of a sudden. Barry deflected. Coming into the night, they were 6 points back with a game in hand. If they can turn this around into a victory, you end the night still with the game in hand, but only 4 points back instead of 6. That's if that one holds. 87th minute, 1-1 Loudoun, Tampa Bay. Martinez. Gosh, Loudoun have really been an enigma this season. So much individual talent on any given day, can compete with and beat any team. And yet, sitting in 12th on 12 points, some of the teams they've tied against this year, maybe on the brink of tying the Rowdies. They tied a Birmingham team that could be a playoff team. They tied Detroit City. They tied Louisville. Look out for Vidiello. Not what he wanted there. A little too close for comfort, but he gets it clear. So they've gone toe-to-toe with some of the best teams, Loudoun, but they just haven't been able to get some of these games over the finish line. Numbers for Charleston. Click back. Barry on the turn for goal, just wide.
And we're just seeing that uptick in the Charleston Battery pressure, and then what they're able to do with that initial ball. And we're seeing a lot of Miguel Barry here to start the second half. So this game is starting to open up. And then to the point that you were just making with Loudoun, they're a team in the East that is trying to crawl themselves into that playoff picture. As we all head into the second half of the season, I mean, results and points are at a premium. It also showcases that balance in both boxes that you have to have. Sporting Jacks, for example, up 2-0, now 2-2. They lead the league in goals conceded, so kind of have been consistent in leaking goals.
They had a 3-0 lead in a game against San Antonio that turned into a 3-3 game and then finished 4-4, I believe. Martinez pressuring Essel, shoulders him off. Who's that off of last? Essel, corner. It'll be a Paper Law Firm, official legal services provider of the Charleston Battery, corner kick.
I know Essel hasn't had a major impact in the final third, and Sacramento Republic, obviously he did have that long throw that led to the opening goal, but defensively he has really owned his role. I think this was an area where Charleston Battery would have loved to see Malik Foster go at him a bit more 1v1, find some of those isolated moments. They just have not been able to generate those sequences consistently.
Messer hangs up there for a while. Nothing they could do with it, though, the Battery. Starting to see Miguel Barry flash a little bit more in this game. If there's somebody on the Battery team you point to that you need a little more from, especially entering this time, as Foster plays it across and it's knocked away, especially during this time when you're going to lose Colton Swan for a couple of weeks because of the CONCACAF U20 Championship, as he's away with the United States. You need Barry to step up a little bit. One of the big acquisitions after seeing the likes of Cal Jennings, MD Myers, Rubio Rubin depart this offseason. Miguel Barry comes in from the LA Galaxy. Over 20 MLS appearances and 13 goals, 6 assists to his name. Has 2 goals, 2 assists this season. But can you get more from him? He's shown flashes in the second half.
And coming into tonight is leading the team in total shots in 44 in all competitions. So has that ability to impact. Good balance with goals and assists. So solid contributor. Also have Wilmer Cabrera, who has shown the quality that he has in the final third.
Could be seeing him at some point. Remember, this was a day where both these teams were looking for a response. Both these coaches were looking for a response. And one of these teams is going to get that response. So far, it's Sacramento. Rolled ahead to Foster. Swan knocks it down. Still bounding around. And the response these teams looking for from lackluster showings in USL Cup last week. Player down right now for Sacramento. For Charleston, it was a 2-2 draw in 90 minutes. They did battle from behind. They got a Colton Swan equalizer after trailing 2-1. But they lost in the shootout against Charlotte Independence. It allowed Charlotte to win the group and knock Charleston out. Sacramento on the other side. They had a chance winning into the quarterfinal of the Prince Tires USL Cup, and they lost to USL League One side AC Boise in regulation, which ended their hopes of going through to the quarterfinal. So both teams tonight were looking to respond. So far, Sacramento answering the call. Desmond right there looked like he got his face into the back of the head of Miguel Berry.
And we hope that he's okay to continue, because we've already to see some adaptation, some flexibility along Neil Collins' back line with availability.
That bicycle kick goal from Ajago, the only goal in the match so far, and the only shot on target still for Sacramento Republic. They had their one moment, and they took advantage. Was it offside? Maybe. Well, there's no quite way to tell. But the looks we got of it camera-wise, we also can't quite tell who it came off of last. If it came off of a defender, which an intentional play from a defender would have negated any potential offside anyway. There wasn't heavy protest from Charleston. Initially, everybody's arm went up to signal offside, but there weren't heavy arguments thereafter. So either they're very patient and Ben Pierman has a good stern hold of them not to argue too much, or they relented in what was probably a rightfully given goal. Martinez. Malongo pushing it ahead. Wants it back on the give and go. Gets it from Rodriguez. Ajago starting to make his run to the penalty spot. Was fed that way but deflected. Rolled ahead, Barry. Vidiello retreating. Barry cutting in. On the turn, it's still Barry! Almost! Ball stayed in play. He's still rolling around. Can Charleston keep the momentum going now? Dropped in from Apinono. It's Barry saved! Rebound cleared! Playing possum off the side of the field. He gets back into play and almost scores.
Well, Miguel Berry, the attack here, and you just wonder what his final look was right here, because it looked like Colton Swan had beat his defender inside. It was still obviously working off the blind shoulder of Timmer, and then Miguel Berry gets himself back up, realizes that Charleston is still in the attack, almost gets on the end of this far post service. You mentioned it, he has been heavily involved in the second half.
Pepper Law from corner kick. Messer swings it in. Vidiello catches it. Essel.
The other element that Neil Collins has got to enjoy tonight, besides the obvious one of being up 1-0, is that his team has not hurt themselves. I mean, they have not. You know that Charleston Battery are going to generate a couple very threatening possessions just based on the pressure. Obviously, their quality in possession anyways. But Sacramento have not given them many more than the ones that are already going to earn themselves, and that's where a lot of teams run into problems.
When will the substitutions start impacting this game as well? 65 minutes come and gone. Not a one made by either side yet. Martinez. More patience now from the Battery, swinging it side to side. Apononu carrying forward, looking forward, threading it through. Take you back to that moment for Miguel Berry. I said playing possum. I meant that literally. Look, he's rolling around. It was after that chance was missed. Play still going on. Play still going on. He realizes that his team still has the ball. Crawls back to his feet. Hobbles back in. Still limping around. Sees that he's got a chance now. Gets onside. And then almost scores the game-tying goal.
And explodes into that action right there.
Changes on both sides now. It's that time. That'll be all from Malik Foster and Kirill Pahomov on the side of the Charleston Battery. Laurent Kisiedu, Langston Blackstock into the match. Interesting how that might impact things. Substitutions are brought to you by Publix. Sacramento, a pair of changes as well. Danny Crisostomo replaced Pep Casas. And then Tyler Wolf came on for Mael Malongo.
Tyler Wolf, one of those players that started the last match outside back and then quickly found himself back up top, and that's where Mark Anthony Kay dropped in and played that role. It was also a game where they did see a lot of possession through the back, so that playmaking ability becomes crucial in that player, and that's where Essel has kind of struck that fine balance between attacking but also being secure defensively. Let's see what now Tyler Wolf brings to this game.
Oh, you know what? Sacramento just needs a bull. I'll come back to that in a second. Numbers here for Sacramento. Laid off through the middle. Rodriguez. That useless fact from earlier, the bear, the bull, and the wolf. We've got Tyler Wolf.
There
You've
you
got
go.
Forster and Jago. You just need a bull to join the equation as well. A free kick coming for Republic. Taken quickly. Rodriguez with a pocket of space. Rodriguez deflected. That was heads-up play from Sacramento Republic. Charleston asleep at the wheel and out for a corner.
Those are plays that lend themselves to being defining fine margins in matchups like this. You see Neil Collins making some adjustments. Let's see what they do with this attacking corner. They did go short last time. And when all the dust settled, it did end up for that long throw from Aaron Essel.
Rodriguez loose. A second would feel, granted, everybody says 2-goal lead most dangerous in this sport, but a second would feel like it might be done and dusted for Sacramento. As good of a team as they are when they score first 4-1 this season, as good of a defensive team as they are if it gets to 2, you have to like your chances if you're Republic.
Yeah, 100% agree. We've seen the urgency from Charleston Battery, and they've done a great job of mixing in that verticality.
Through on the turn. Is this the moment? Is that a penalty? It is. We haven't called his name all night, but Colton Swan needs one moment. Draws the Battery a penalty and a chance to draw level.
And it's all the work that he and Miguel Berry have been doing from the beginning of this second half. And it hasn't necessarily come to find a breakthrough, but it does right here. You get the turn, and then you put Aaron Essel in a position where he's got to make a decision. He's got to step in. Colton Swan gets the contact, earns the penalty. That's where the movement of he and Miguel Berry through the second half has really set that up. Colton Swan has been the player that's dropped in between the lines. Miguel Berry has then played that higher target.
Essel did pick up a yellow card for the foul. He took a very hard spill there. Colton Swan, you just hope he's okay. Tomorrow he's supposed to leave to join the United States camp for the U20 CONCACAF Championship. Such a big moment for this club in Charleston, and producing a player like this, and for the player himself. He's back to his feet now. Just doing a windmill basically with that right arm and try and loosen it back up. It's Emilio Icaza who has the ball in hand. Is he a decoy, or is he the one who's going to put it down and take it? Has 3 assists this season to go with his 4 goals, looking for a 5th that would tie this game. He gets the pat on the back from Jeremy Kelly. It looks like it will be Icaza. And he's going up against one of the best penalty kick goalkeepers, not just in USL Championship, but that many of us have ever seen in Danny Vitiello. A terrific collegiate penalty record, a terrific pro penalty record. He has single-handedly won games, produced upsets, produced magic for Republic. The mind games, the guessing, everything about it. He is a true ace when it comes to stopping penalties. You wonder if that's going through the mind of Icaza. And if that plays with the mind, do you second guess yourself going up against a keeper who's this level when it comes to penalties? In the 73rd minute with a chance to tie. Emilio Icaza scores 1-1 here at Patriots Point.
This is the turn from Colton Swan, so clever, so smooth in that ability to receive and know exactly where he wants to go. And Emilio Icaza, just calm, cool, collected on the finish. And you know you're facing a goalkeeper that's going to be doing his homework, and Emilio Icaza typically goes to that lower right-hand side of his, and he gets Vitiello already drifting towards his left. Then just knows that he has to get it on frame, tucks it away. This game is level.
And to your point, the last 5 penalties he's taken, 3 have been down the middle at varying heights. 1 on the ground, 1 midway through, and 1 under the bar. Look out here, now it's heating up. And the other 2 to the bottom right corner. So homework was done. Icaza broke the trend, and now we've got a lot to sort out here as Matthew Corrigan just making the face that a disappointed father would make right now as things continue around him. And he's the one who's going to have to decide which cards to give out and to whom. I can't make sense of this. Try keeping track of everything going on right now. Starts there with the Jago and Icaza. To be fair, you could make the case that Jago should be off for that.
Yeah, just escalated so quickly. And then you knew emotions were going to run high. especially after the goal is scored.
Rodriguez in the middle of that, knocking over Barry. He's on a yellow card already, Rodriguez, so he has to make sure he doesn't pick up a second. The yellows are now being doled out by Matthew Corrigan. I think he only gave out one officially. Now a red is to Ajago. It was noticed. I wasn't sure if Matthew Corrigan noticed it live. I had noted it on the replay that he should be off, and Matthew Corrigan did notice it. Ajago is off. So Sacramento, moments ago, conceding, making it 1-1, and now they go down a man. Emilio Icaza picked up a yellow for the Battery. Bad to worse here in these last few minutes for Sacramento.
You were spot on with the replay, because you just wonder what sparks this interaction.
Watch the reaction from Ajago. He's on the ground right now. He's still waiting. And as he gets back to his feet is when he gets to red, and he's stunned. But to be fair, he shouldn't be. We saw it on the replay. It seemed clear as day that he should be off.
Yeah, and you understand that no player enjoys it when an opposing player is standing over the top of you. But you just wonder if there was some sort of confusion from Ajago on who instigated that first tackle, and then was that the same player that was standing over the top?
And he has a little history of this. In his debut last year with Lexington, when he came over from Real Monarchs, he got a straight red in the 50th minute of that game. That then cost him the next 2 games. He was suspended for 2 games. So repeat offender in a moment like this, in a similar situation where he lost his cool. And now that will bring about a change on the Charleston side. Colton Swan did his work, earned the penalty. We wish him all the best as he leaves tomorrow for the CONCACAF U20 Championship for the United States. Alec Hughes takes his spot up top. All subs brought to you by Publix. Rodriguez curls it in. It's loose and cleared. So a quarter of an hour plus stoppage for Sacramento. Down a man. How quickly this game changed from up a goal to level and down a man. And now the momentum for the Battery, looking to take this lead. On that left side, it's deflected. Ron Kisiedu making his first inroad since coming on as a sub. Pepper Law Firm corner kick. Kisiedu positions it. Messer delivering. Was it deflected? It was. Corner coming. Another Pepper Law Firm corner kick for the Battery.
Just such a sharp shift in momentum. But these are the questions that Charleston Battery were asking after conceding that goal. A lot of movement, a lot of interchange. The adaptability, the flexibility in the attack was there. Now you're up a player. Let's see what you get on these restarts.
Delivery. Still bouncing around. Hughes looking for it. Called for the foul, coming out the other way. Battery's brand new 2026 home and away kits are on sale now at the Battery Team Store, courtesy of Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including customizable 2026 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com or by visiting the Team Store here at Patriots Point on match days.
Now what becomes the approach for Neil Collins and his side? You're on the road, playing a team that 21 games unbeaten here at Patriots Point. You have at least a point if you can keep this at 1-1, but you're a player down, so how and when do you pick your moments to go attack? Obviously set pieces are going to be big.
And there might be an intent to just hold on to the draw here from Sacramento. Now at 1-1 down a man, bringing on Chibi Okebu for Blake Willie, bringing on a center back for an attacking-minded midfielder. Here's how we got here. It's all about Forster Ajago right now, one way or the other. This is the good from Ajago.
Yeah, here's the header from Timmer and the long throw from Essel. Then Ajago kind of working off that blind shoulder of Martinez, gets himself into the picture, and then this penalty earned by Colton Swan. Good entry ball to him, and then Emilio Ikaza, what he's done all season, steps up, calm, composed, tucks that away, and levels the score. And then just a few moments later, Ajago picks up the red right here. The reaction, and all of this is sorted. Picks up the straight red. Now you see Sacramento Republic playing down a player.
You didn't quite see it. It was at the beginning of that, what he did initially to Ikaza, but it's right here. Watch him on the ground. And as he gets up, he right there swipes at Ikaza twice with the left hand and the right hand. He didn't make clean contact, but throwing a strike like that, open-handed, closed-handed, doesn't really matter. That is going to bring about a red card if the referee catches it, and Matthew Corrigan caught it.
And just as he's been all night, Matthew Corrigan is tremendous position. I mean, he has been on top of everything. I mean, kind of let that all play out, but he saw everything unfold and caught the reaction and sorted it all when everything was done and dusted.
The favorite part of all of that was the face he made. It looked like he was in the office. He just needed to look deadpan at the camera while he was making that face, and it would have felt like Jim. Barry. Charleston make the most of this now and go on and find a winner while they're up a man. 9 to play plus stoppage. Ikaza, who scored the penalty. Blackstock cutting in, going for goal, no trouble for Vitiello. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest product specials and more.
Well, just as I would ask the question for Sacramento Republic, for Charleston Battery, now it's finding that delicate balance between going all out in terms of generating the volume and the quality you want in the final third. Clearly you already have the advantage being a player up, but you do carry all that momentum, but also leaving yourself secure in the back and knowing that Sacramento Republic is still probably capable, fully capable of generating 1 to 2 really high quality looks going forward, whether it's in transition, whether it's off a free kick.
Kisiedu. Douglas Martinez. Can't imagine Neil Collins is a happy camper right now for a team that's dealt with injuries and is looking to finally propel themselves forward, conceding a penalty, losing Forster Ajago for the rest of tonight and the next game, and maybe more. He was suspended 2 games for the last infraction like that in his debut last season with Lexington. As a repeat offender, it might be the same, where it's 2 or 3 games. I don't know exactly how the disciplinary committee will handle it, but it's possible for a team that is trying to kick into a higher gear. You get the goal from Ajago. You think that could be the starting point, and then that happens. It's 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, and maybe 3 steps back if they end up losing this game. And this is a sub that shows you where Ben Pierman's mind is at. Douglas Martinez off, Wilmer Cabrera in. Subs brought to you by Publix.
Let's see what this does to the overall shape. How the Charleston Battery set up and build and attack this Sacramento Republic side.
Rodriguez looking through the middle. I don't don't know if Zamudio had to punt that. He probably could have rolled it out to where it got in the end, but I mean, he's been bored. He hasn't had much to do since the goal, really.
It does look like Blackstock has gone into that right back position. Obviously, he will continue to find himself higher and higher up the field, and Suber and Apononu will become those deep line playmakers. You already see Nathan Messer high up the field.
Casiedu, Hughes settles it, goes for goal right at Vitiello. Soccer season's here. SeatGeek's your official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
And you like where that first touch was taking Hughes. It did just drift behind him just a bit. Was not able to make clean contact and tuck it away in one of the corners, but you have to like how aggressive he was looking to be. That's what Charleston's going to be able to do. They're going to be able to stack this back line. See the numbers that they've put right at the top of the 18-yard box.
Suber. Blackstock. Former Pittsburgh Riverhound teammates, reigning champions of the USL Championship. Now teammates with Charleston. Suber. Apononu. Here's Cabrera darting infield. Looking for Ikaza. Can Sacramento get out in transition here? Lost it. Crisostomo forgot the ball. Blackstock finds it. Blackstock cuts one through. Great ball just ahead of Nathan Messer. That'll be all for Memo Rodriguez. Fredo Medense will enter, newly acquired by Sacramento, in for the first time. Subs brought to you by Publix. Chicken tender subs on sale, by the way, this week. Do with that information what you will.
I think your wife would definitely have something to say about the information that you carry around with you. Now, albeit
useful.
Very useful. I was going to say.
Earlier it was useless but interesting. This was useful if you're hungry. 3 minutes to go. Charleston hungry for a game-winning goal. Crowd stomping the bleachers, hoping to implore it. Hughes battling.
Going back to the point we were just making about Sacramento Republic. You have games in hand, but that only matters with what you do with those results. I mean, you can have games in hand, but if you're dropping points, kind of negates the advantage that you have. See, still 1 point would be extremely valuable, but this is also a team that is going to be back on the road to Oakland Roots in their next matchup, so it does not get any easier. And then you turn and you host Sporting Jacksonville, so they're still a lot out in front. And Collins will tell you, and a lot of the coaches throughout the league will tell you, that a lot of the themes and trends of your team, they will play themselves out. Everything starts to balance itself.
Blackstock. Hughes, rather Barry, excuse me. Ikaza leaves it. Cabrera trying to get it back for Ikaza. It's weird right now. I don't know that either team would be particularly pleased with this draw if this holds the way it is. Still time for that to change. Still plenty for that to change. Told there's going to be 8 minutes of stoppage time. Wait for the confirmation. Blackstock delivering back post just over Hughes' head. Was it deflected? Yes. Corner coming. Pepper Law Firm corner taken quickly. Outswinger after the short routine. Cabrera into the mixer. clear from Desmond. Foul against the Battery. The Battery Match is the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. This one has been memorable for different reasons. Coming into the night, a team that has been synonymous with success in the East. A team that has been synonymous with success in the West. Two teams who very much have a claim to be there maybe again in the final when all is said and done this November. The night has lived up to it. A scoreless first half in which neither side had a shot on target, but it was entertaining. It was back and forth. There were moments. A Forster Ajago bicycle kick goal. A penalty won by the bright young star Colton Swan, who's on his way with the United States to the CONCACAF U20 Championship. Forster Ajago back into the headlines for the red card instead of the goal shortly thereafter. Here we are at 1-1 with 8 minutes remaining, and Sacramento defending down a man. They actually just upped it to 9 after that last challenge, so 9 minutes of stoppage time. And stoppage time is now brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Player down is W Kebu for Sacramento.
See this coming together.
Wrestle, rather. He's taken a beating tonight. A few instances where he's gone in like this and come up in the wrong end. It will be a Pro Lift Garage Doors free kick for the Charleston Battery. Wrestle went in a bit carelessly. Foul given against him, even though he got the worst of it. Kelly, back post, bodies there, banging around, out for a goal kick. Next time they're home, the Battery will be against Brooklyn FC, Saturday, August 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A couple of weeks from now.
And I know being a player up and you know, the momentum and the shifts of this game have presented some different options for Charleston Battery, but you have to like what Alec Hughes is doing in and around the box, and his work rate with Miguel Berry and Emilio Icaza, Wilmer Cabrera. He is somebody that's probably going to have to step in quite a bit with the absence of Colton Swan, former All-American, former USL League Two Player of the Year.
That life without Colton Swan starts next week for Charleston at Colorado Springs. Sacramento next week, the NorCal Derby at the Oakland Roots. Barry call for the foul. We'll see yellow.
And he knew it right away. As soon as he conceded possession, it was going to be so important to halt and minimize anything Sacramento had going forward. But now it does provide Sacramento an option to get those numbers forward. As we see that challenge from Miguel Berry, who his involvement in the second half has been heavy and needed. Wasn't called upon too much in that first half, but you did start to see kind of that rhythm start to grow with he and Colton Swan. We've seen that throughout the season.
I made the point a short while ago that it'll feel very neutral for both these teams if this holds. If you're Charleston, you're really not happy with how this game started. You're happy you got back into it and were the better team in the second half, but you also then would be unhappy that you don't get the win playing up a man as long as you've been playing up a man. If you're Sacramento, you're upset with the fact that you had a lead and you squandered that lead and had a chance to come on the road and pick up a victory, which has been rare as of late. But then you're also happy that you were able to survive down a man as long as you've been able to survive down a man. So neutral both ways, and that's if nothing changes still in the next 5 minutes.
I agree, and that's why I think a lot of people, when you look at the score line and then you look in depth of the story of and the narrative that kind of laid itself out tonight, I agree with everything you kind of laid out. But we also knew that with two teams that were coached by the two coaches that are each on each sideline, you knew that the strengths were going to be minimized. I mean, these are two coaches that are so good at taking away what your strengths are and making you play differently. And that's what we've seen tonight. We've seen both these teams have to be uncomfortable.
Here's Blackstock. Good idea. Waited a little bit too long. Medense playing from the ground. Foul is called in the end. Now halfway through the 9 minutes of stoppage that were given. Can watch the match. Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. That includes USL All Access on Tuesday nights, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Blackstock lost it.
We see Ben Pierman. Still plenty of time to find that game winner. And that's that balance that you had just mentioned, being pleased with the resiliency and the character of the group to get themselves back in after conceding, but also unable to kind of find that clear-cut opportunity to go ahead.
Sacramento's okay with this right now. Down a man, taking the sting out of this game. Every second that goes by, feeling like an eternity for Sacramento, who have been 20 minutes now down a man. Two minutes remaining. Apanonu. The momentum was there for the 5-10 minutes after Charleston went up a man to have gone on and gotten the winner. A couple of saves from Vidiello. Nothing spectacular, but did what he had to do. Since then, Sacramento have just bunkered in and not relented defensively. Had a flair for the late drama, though, this season, Charleston. Started with one of their early Open Cup matches against Badgers FC, an amateur side. And then from there has showed up again, time and again. Flipped in toward Hughes. Just a clinic right now in defending off a game from Sacramento, almost given away. A minute remaining. Blackstock pumps it a service. Back post, Vidiello tracking and punching clear.
And this is where the goalkeeper that you're playing against does have high influence in where that delivery is coming from and space you're trying to get into, and knowing that you have to cause havoc in that first touch and then you can get back on the ball.
Apanonu just gets there to Blackstock. Essel defending. Blackstock centering, cleared. Dribbling back into the middle, Medense. Just get that out of there. He does it. Casiedo takes it back. Just brain switched off for a second from Medense. And life still for Charleston to find a winner in the closing seconds. Space for Cabrera cutting in. Cabrera wide. That should do it. 9 minutes come and gone. One last good look. Cabrera couldn't curl it.
And this off that turnover immediately finds Cabrera out in that wide area, gets it on his left foot, just unable to get the shape around this. Notice he has to work through the traffic. What an opportunity there late.
You could hear the shouts from Neil Collins on the Sacramento bench. Why are we still playing? That's a good question. We're now 10 minutes into stoppage time, and there hasn't really been anything within stoppage time to extend it. Not anything that rings a bell, at least. We see 100 minutes on the clock tonight. And there is the final whistle. It's more than meets the eye to just simply a 1-1 draw, but it's probably a fair result this evening between two of the best coaches in this league, two of the better teams in this league. They may meet again in November, and it would probably surprise no one, but tonight they split a point each on a goal each.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to be fine margins that were going to decide what this match looked like, and two well-coached teams and two disciplined teams match at 1 goal apiece, and it's about making plays in both boxes, and that they did.
Tonight's play of the match presented by No Days Off. It's a combo between Colton Swan and the goal scorer, Emilio Icaza. Swan drew the penalty. Icaza finished it. It tied things up. 1 goal apiece in this second half gave Charleston life. They went up a man shortly thereafter, but they did not have enough to go on and get the win. Just the draw, and the man of the match is the goal scorer. Tonight's Fix It 24/7 man of the match, Emilio Icaza, for tying things up from the spot.
Consistently steps up to the spot, calm, cool, composed, clinical in the finish. He had Vidiello going to his left, so clearly he had done his homework. Knows he just needs to get it on frame, gets the equalizer.
And that would be enough to get the point as well for the Charleston Battery. Final score is presented by Regions, 1-1. The finish between Charleston and Sacramento. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from Patriots Point.
Hey, play for an ultra?
We're playing for ultras. Brace you for an ultra?
Put an ultra on it.
Don't forget, there's ultras on the line.
I didn't.
Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
We've always been heads up about money, but sometimes life throws you a curve, like juggling college for our son and what it might take to help my dad if he needs it. He's always been there for us. Our Regions Green Print plan helped us feel more prepared for whatever comes next. And Mike went the extra mile for us with great advice. We feel like we've got this.
Extra confidence from Greenprint. Extra know-how from our people. Extra is our ordinary at Regions.
I think that music is a kind of magic. As a therapist, I have seen firsthand what music can do. And because of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to go to school and turn my passion for music into a career that helps others. And that is pretty magical too.
Better support means a better South Carolina, and a better South Carolina means a better you.
Final score brought to you by Regions. 1-1 it finishes. Hotly contested game in more ways than one between the Charleston Battery and Sacramento Republic. I wouldn't complain if we saw these two teams again in November. That's a long way away. There's a lot of terrific teams in this league. We'll see if that ends up as the outcome. In the more immediate future, let's look back at the highlights from this one, brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
to see that game out with a player down, and Charleston Battery unable to capitalize. 16 shots, 6 on target, but just nothing clear-cut other than the penalty on Vidiello.
Full-time stats brought to you by Regions. You'd say probably a fair point for both these teams tonight in a very interesting game. Probably fair in the end?
I would. I knew that coming into this game we were going to get a lot of back and forth and tactically from both these coaches and both these teams that are elite at execution. So a fair point for both, but I think the storylines kind of tell a different story as well.
Fair point at Patriots Point. That's the theme of the evening between the Charleston Battery and Sacramento Republic. For Sacramento next week, it's the big rivalry on the road against the Oakland Roots. For Charleston, it is a cross-country trip to take on Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Final score brought to you by Regions. It finishes 1-1 between the Battery and Republic. Our broadcast partner, Eric Dobransky, and the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. You can flip around on ESPN Plus and catch FC Tulsa El Paso, as well as San Antonio, Las Vegas. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.